Welcome back to the Fox Robbins Business Show. Thanks for coming back. Come on in and sit a while. We're gonna talk about small business affairs.
We are?
Anything and everything under the sun regarding small business, we're gonna talk about sooner or later, given enough time.
Well, we've done almost 200 shows. How many more do we have to?
There's, when it comes to small business, there's no end to it.
We're gonna do 1,000 of them, right?
Right.
They're only half an hour long.
Here's the Fox Robbins Business Show, and again, it's all about developing your very best ideas in small business, in either creating a new business, or you're in the act of, or you're right in the middle or the act of starting a business, or you have an ongoing business, and it's doing well, or it's not doing so well,
right.
or it wants to make changes. You want to get into new products, new services. You want to get into import-export perhaps, or other, you want to acquire, gobble up one of your competitors.
Merger and acquisition.
Or, let's not forget, there's always, the life cycle of business. There's an ending at some point, either selling off the business or shutting or closing it down.
Right.
Pull down the blinds, close the door, walk out, and that's it.
Come watch the Fox Robbins Business Show.
Well, I'm Bill Fox, the co-host,
Yes.
but the other co-host,
That's me.
now get this, this guy is exemplary. He's intriguing and arousing. Watch it, wait, watch that.
Arousing. Tell my wife.
Wait a minute, this is a family show.
That's right.
All right. And Coach, we're continuing on talking about the entrepreneur thing. You'd say, those of you watching the show would say, we know all about that. We've heard everything there is to know. And the answer is no, you have not. And
I've been doing it for over 30 years, and I haven't heard everything I need to know.
well, plus the fact that, when it comes to starting a business, we still today are operating on statistics. U.S. Census Bureau would say, and the SBA, Small Business Administration, would say that 70% of brand new business startups fail in the first 5 years, and of that group, half of those, 50% of those fail in the very first year. Now, that's not good statistics, and it should not be that way.
No, it doesn't have to be that way.
Doesn't have to be
But
that
people
way.
go off half-cocked,
Yeah.
and that's why they have to watch the Fox Robbins
So,
Business Show.
Coach, I'm going to be grilling you on entrepreneurship,
Okay.
and we have we use the entrepreneurship successfully launching new ventures, Barringer in Ireland, Pearson Education, and
Good book. Good text.
the first slide here is in entrepreneurship is opportunity, Coach. Attractive, timely, durable, creates value. Do you agree with that?
Yes. An idea is not necessarily an opportunity. An opportunity is defined by a favorable set of circumstances that the author says creates a need for a new product, service, or business. I differ on the word creates a need. I mean, certainly Apple created a need for these because we didn't know we wanted iPhones. We didn't know what an iPhone was 15 years ago. But most opportunities are found, not created. They're found by finding a niche, fancy way of saying niche, for a new product or service that's unique, different, and definitely fills a want, a need, a desire in a different way. So yeah, if you can find an opportunity, but just because you get an idea, that's where it certainly starts. But now you have to do the research, and that's what we're going to talk about.
Now, identifying ways of seeing opportunities. Excuse me. One would be by observing trends, by solving a problem, or by identifying because you're smart and intelligent and you identify gaps in the marketplace.
Right, gaps, niches, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And you need to keep your eyes open, as a matter of fact, and that's basically what this is saying. Observing trends, seeing what's going on in the world, always solving a problem. Whatever the problem is that the customer or potential customer has, that's what you're looking for, is a gap, something that is not fulfilled. We've said it so many times, if you are just creating a Me Too business, that has a great possibility to just fail in the first few years, because it's just another business. There's nothing unique about it. There's nothing different. You're just competing with some other business directly, and they've been in business a while, and they've got a brand identity, and they've got cash to, support the business. That's not the way you want to start a business. So you're really looking for what's going on in the world, what's going on in the market, see what problems customers have, and fill that niche.
So observing, so-called observing trends out there in the greater world, such as economic forces, social forces in the social arena, new technologies.
Boy, that's huge.
And regulatory change.
Right.
We're going to mention that later.
Yep.
But those are four key items in what is called observing trends.
Right, and being observant about what's going on in your world, what's going on in whatever your world you want to define your world as. But if your world happens to be a local town and you see there's a need for a coffee shop, since I'm holding a cup of coffee, then that might be something that is available to you. You can, we've discussed franchising, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, or just starting your own little independent a lot of people starting independent little coffee shops, where people can come and sit, because the little towns don't have that type of thing, and they're being quite successful. So,
Coach, you have talked until you're blue in the face about opportunities like buying a business.
Oh, absolutely, buying an existing
an ongoing business,
yeah.
A defunct business.
A business that may have, we talk a lot about baby boomers coming of age, and they're 60, 65, 70 even, and it's time for them to cash out in their business. We've done shows about this. Yeah. And there's opportunities for people who want to get into a small business to go find a business that's coming up for sale, because it's time for them to cash out, and as we know, that's probably one of their major assets. So that's a way to get into a business too.
So starting from scratch, which is the most risky of all, is not required, guys. You can, the franchise idea that Coach mentioned, buying an existing business and freshening it up, turning it in a new direction, is just as much of a entrepreneurial, risk-taking operation as anything else.
Well, it's kind of like inertia. A body at rest tends to stay at rest, and a body in motion tends to stay in motion. If you pick up a little business, I bought a business that was doing a little over $1 million a year, and 7-8 years later, I'm doing $22 million a year. So it was easier to accelerate a business that already had pretty much strong brand identity in its local community too.
You must have been breathing a little bit of energy into that business.
A lot of energy, and a lot of time, and a lot of effort, and but I've also started businesses from scratch. And in the startup, to go from zero to something takes a lot of work, because nobody even knows you exist. So yeah, there's many different ways of doing it. But you're looking for trends, as economic forces, what's going on. Is the economy going up? Is it going down? Technology. I mean, when we talk about technology changes, they're happening, as quickly as we could imagine. And of course, anything that goes on in politics,
well,
could
this
afford you an opportunity.
This gap, seeing a gap means something that's uncovered or not covered.
A want, a need, a desire that nobody else is taking care of. If you can figure that out, you've got a leg up on being a successful startup.
In economic forces, in the social arena, in technology changes, and political, which we'll get into.
Right.
Political meaning regulatory. Coach, the economic gaps. Look at these, these ideas. Weak a weak economy, this is an example that you use, I think, is a weak economy creates a new biz
Yep.
to help people save money.
Right, because when the economy's weak and people are nervous, like what happened in 2007, 2008, people pulled in their horns quite a bit. And by the way, they haven't let those horns out here 10 years later. They're still being a little bit careful how they're spending money because they still feel the pain from 8 or 10 years ago. So anything you can do to save people money back then would be something that they would be very, very interested in. The example you have here is Gas Buddy, which is a website that was created, I would say 10, 15 years ago. I don't remember exactly when, but you go to that website and it tells you what the gas prices are, you know, in your local zip code area, and so you can go and
Find the best gas deal.
find the best gas deal that you can find.
Well, this is a simple idea,
But you know, people are concerned about that. You know, instead of paying $2.95 a gallon, if you can pick it up to $2.77 a gallon, you know, and throw 20 gallons in your car, and as long as you don't have to drive 10 miles, you know, instead of going west, go east, pick up that gas station, right?
well, even today that's back on the map because over the last year, you know, gas prices have gone from like $2.40 to $3.
About $3, and I've seen gas prices near the school where I teach as low as $2.70, and I've seen them as high as $3.10. So it's 40-cent spread on gas. So
Gas Buddy
will tell you that, right?
Okay. Now, in the area of social forces, that may sound, you know, very official, but it's not. The idea on social forces that create change or create gaps, such as aging population.
I like that one.
They'll cover these.
Like us.
Diversity in the population, social networking, which is has exploded.
Right.
Mobile devices, that's part of the explosion.
Those two go together.
And then, you know, health and wellness. So let's talk about that.
Well, health and wellness goes right along with the aging population, obviously, because as we get older, we need a little bit more health care, you know. Diversity, absolutely. I see, as you know, clients every day practically. A few weeks ago, I had a couple come to me who want to start a restaurant and a fast takeout type restaurant, not a lot of indoor seating, but they want to do a really healthy menu in a little town. And we were discussing it. Well, she is an African American and he is a Mexican American, and they're actually going to create a menu, talk about unique. And they showed me some of the stuff they make, and it looks darn good, quite frankly, but very, very healthy menu of Afro-Mexican food. Who ever heard of Afro-Mexican food? There's going to be a niche restaurant in that little town. We'll see how it goes.
The social networks these days, I mean, that's just exploded.
Well, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of, you know, what's going on with social networking, that really exploded on the world. And of course, these things, these mobile devices, whether it's this or, you know, your iPad or whatever you're using, of course everybody uses, and I don't know anybody who doesn't have an iPhone, quite frankly. I'm in my 5th generation, I think, of iPhones. The first thing I do is pick this out of my pocket. If I'm searching for something, if I'm in a local area, you know, I search for it right on my iPhone before I ever go into my office to look on my computer. So these are opportunity creators.
That's what Coach is talking about, is that the social if you have an entrepreneurial urge, you are in fact looking at these changes that, you know, taking place and looking for gaps.
Looking for an opportunity gap.
Opportunity gaps.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's take a social. His technology.
Yeah, it sure is. His technology.
Computers, internet, biotechnology, digital photo, drones. You know,
drones are huge. Drones have come on big. There's all kinds of FAA regulations surrounding drones now. But yeah, drones are very big. I've got probably a dozen people that have gone into a business, and the focus is utilizing drones. A lot of it is real estate, quite frankly, for realtors, but there are others too. Huge opportunities in that area. Biotechnology, that's, Boston is loaded with biotech companies, you know, doing all kinds of wild things up there. MIT, of course, you know.
Research driven.
Yeah, absolutely, yep.
Internet, just mention the internet.
Computers
I mean,
and internet.
what can you say about the internet? But
It's been exploding for 20 years.
I always call it I call it the power. The internet is so powerful to, control information. I don't know why. I was thinking the other day, things that now are that are available to us that did not exist. One is a simple act of purchasing a car, purchasing a new car or a used car.
Yep.
That used to be go to your local dealer,
Right.
or drive around town and drop in on dealerships.
Dealerships.
No, now it's the click of a button on your computer, not just in your own locale, in your state, in your region, even all across the United States.
When I bought my last car, I had a dealer that was probably 75 miles away that I had involved with the bidding, so to speak, of the car.
But that and another one that's come is travel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and anywhere you go now with a click of a button to find an airline and an airfare,
Yep.
and a seat,
Yep.
and so forth.
And a hotel
and
at
the
a
hotel
discount price.
and the rental car and the
Yeah.
other services. I don't know, whatever. You know.
Wiped it. Pretty much decited the travel agency business, the
Look,
whole industry.
That's power.
Yeah.
Internet
At your
power.
fingertip.
If you can, the trick is for entrepreneurs was to gather all that information into the computer. Once you do that, you know, manipulating and presenting that information is like so.
Very easy.
If you can do that.
Yep.
But of course, that's also the auctioning, eBay.
Mm-hmm.
It's books and
Amazon,
refrigerators
everything.
and everything that you
Everything.
could possibly want to
Amazon.
buy from Amazon.com.
The gorilla.
Guys, that's power.
Yep.
That's power. Biotechnology, digital photos.
Well, digital, of course, wiped out Polaroid.
They were said to be. I still have well within memory that it was said that this digital photo thing was a crackpot deal, and it was for amateurs and dummies, and it's still the old photo, the old classic photograph developed at the drugstore.
Yep.
And that just. Coach, that kind of went out to sea, man.
Well, Kodak went bankrupt, and Polaroid pretty much almost went out of business completely. So, yep.
And then drones. You mentioned drones a few minutes ago,
right.
and you can put these stupid little whirly gigs up in the air, and take pictures.
You bet.
So, okay, so you're looking in the technology arena. Here's a technology. Here's an example. Is a thing called H20 audio, Coach.
What I got a kick out of this one when I utilized this book in my entrepreneurship class. I think it's a very good book, as a matter of fact, and this is just one of 15 chapters, but the information that we're pulling out of this. But I read this case study about H2O audio. I was shocked because I cannot imagine wanting to use this with my earbuds on my surfboard, but I guess there's enough of a market for it to make this waterproof, to have waterproof earbuds, and these students at a college, came up with this business and put it on Facebook to start, and started selling these things as fast as they could get them made. And they've got a nice little business. It's a niche business. It's never going to be a scalable business to become a billion-dollar business, but it's a nice little multi-million-dollar business.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then we move on. This is another arena that you would be looking at if you have the entrepreneurial spirit.
Right.
Is laws and regulation. That is an example. This touches on me. Environmental protection, which started under Nixon, 1969.
I wasn't.
Create the EPA.
I wasn't born.
You weren't born at that point.
Liar.
EPA, environmental protection, air and water. Back in '69 under Nixon, creates a need to now you got to comply because there are regulations.
Yeah, there are laws.
Now, air and water pollution, it affects me personally. Well, I was I was working for a company that's in the manufacturing business, manufacture heavy construction equipment. That included big, gigantic mixing plants to make asphalt paving material for highways.
Right.
Those plants are filthy, absolutely filthy, dirty, air polluters. And so we were already in making equipment, that kind of equipment. So we quickly, with the EPA, we quickly added air pollution control. And, created a whole new division.
Right.
So that touches me. I know what that is.
Back when I was going to school, college, there was a song about Boston, the muddy River Charles, dun, 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 dun. I mean, the dirty old River Charles. It's not a dirty old river anymore, fortunately. The laws have made the businesses clean up their act immensely.
But that creates
all kinds of
opportunities to start companies that help people comply with the regulations. Right?
And it's still going on today. I have a very bright young lady who's trying to start a blue incubator, she calls it, which is a business that will help people get into a business that relates to water, the sea. It could be fishing, it could be lobsters, it could be something unique in water treatment or whatever. She's trying to start an incubator in the Plymouth area and a school to educate people about how to create a business. It's an exciting opportunity, quite frankly, coming down the road.
Go up and see her.
Yeah.
Here's more on the, if you have your eyes open, looking at laws and regulations that spur new business, there's, aside from the environmental protection, there's another set of protections called OSHA, O-S-H-A, OSHA, which is Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and the regulations and laws that go along with that for protecting health, worker health and safety.
Yep. Yeah, OSHA's been around for a long time, OSHA, but they've been getting more involved and more detailed with air, with water. They were always involved with worker safety. As a matter of fact, quite honestly, 30 years ago, they were a pain in the ankle, and they had to back off from some of the things they were doing, get more serious about what really affects us all, which is air and water. So, there are all kinds of opportunities that might be available through some new regulations coming out of the Occupational Safety and Health Act.
Thank you for watching the Fox Robbins Business Show for this episode. This is one of 2 episodes on discovering new opportunities, for entrepreneurs. And we're going to pick up, so when all of the Fox Robbins shows are uploaded to YouTube, so you can watch this episode 1 and then go on to episode 2 for the second half of the story, please.
Right.
And thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time.